Warwick Farm was always favoured the smaller cars, so I was lucky that I lived in Sydney and my local racetrack was Warwick Farm.
And no one was a greater crowd pleaser than Norm Beechey. And no one chased him harder than Brian Foley. Other top names of the period included Jim McEwen, who drove a Lotus Cortina and Porsche, and Bob Jane, who liked his cars big and powerful. This was the era of the chase, real goodies and baddies stuff, in which big cars were hounded by packs of minis.
Yeah, well, the car was not that much slower than the big cars around there. Yeah, it might have been second, perhaps. And so over a period of 10 laps, with a bit of toing and froing amongst the bigger cars, yeah, I was sort of within sight, let's put it that way.
And now the race is between Beechey and Foley. Beechey trying desperately to move the Nova away from the diminutive Mini that's pursuing him and hounding him as he runs around Warwick Farm. Through Paddock Bend goes Beechey. Creek Corner, Beechey, car number 4, still being followed closely by Foley. Across the causeway they go. Foley making up ground but lacking desperately the necessary power to get past the big Nova. Off the causeway and the Mini very tidy, and then on the pit straight. Beechey still only about a second in front of Foley or less. Through Paddock Bend, Foley very, very close, only tenths of seconds between them. Draws alongside as they come to the causeway, tucks in behind him, gets too tight, and then loses about 5 or 6 car lengths. Again having a go on the outside as they come to the causeway, but won't be able to do anything and have to sit in behind him and follow him very, very closely as they go across the causeway, but it's Beechey the victor, and Foley will come in about 6/10 of a second behind him.
Did the motor industry take you away from driving?
Yes, unfortunately, but the time came, you know. Probably age too. I wasn't like Frenchie, who just kept going and going.
John French, Evan Green here. I'd like you to recall what happened just a little bit further up the circuit when you were driving an Alfa Romeo many years ago, and you were involved in that crash which eliminated something like a third of the field. It was just beyond Skyline. Tell us what happened when you came over here. What was it, about 15 years ago?
1969, Evan. I went over the top, and there was everybody stopped, and I hit someone, and someone hit me, and I ended up upside down.
You were hit 3 times after you went upside down?
100 times.
Every year this race seems to produce its excitement, and then as they come down off the top of the mountain, Bill Brown's in tremendous trouble. He's right upside down, over he goes again, and comes to rest on his roof. He's bringing the whole field to a halt. Tremendous trouble and traffic here, and John French apparently in an Alfa rolling too. 2 cars upside down, traffic held up everywhere, numbers of cars damaged, cars still hitting each other. Bill Brown still in the car actually. John French, at least Bill Stanley, backing his car up and letting Bartlett's Alfa through, but still the track almost completely blocked, and cars running into each other seemingly for minutes as they came up over the top of the mountain and started to run down to the bottom. Still traffic blocked. Some 2 minutes almost after the initial accident. Bill Brown out of the car now. John French, after having been hit about 4 times, has finally come to rest and got himself out of the Alfa. And now the field is starting to sort its way through. And as they come down the mountain for the second time, they work their way past the wreckage. A tremendous incident, and one completely unexpected, even in the excitement and the sort of mishaps and incidents that we do have in the Hardy Ferodo races.
And do you know who was the first person to reach you? Do you remember?
Yeah, Dickie Johnson.
And how did Dick get to you?
He was rocking it over the fence with his wife Julie and my wife Mari, not Dick's mother, and
he was a spectator.
yes, and Dick put his head in the window and he said, "Are you all right, mate?" I said, "Yeah, can I get out yet?" He said, "Yeah, righto." So out I got.
I decided to retire gracefully from driving and concentrate more on work.
Selling cars.
It's awesome, heroic driving. King of the Minis was Peter Manton, although at one memorable Warwick Farm meeting, King Peter, afflicted by a lock differential, very nearly abdicated.
I retired regularly. Every time you run out of money or had to go and do something in the business or something or other like that, it was motor racing wasn't my life like it was with some people like Dick and Brocky and Moffat and a lot of people. It's all they wanted to do, but I had a business to run and I couldn't get serious enough to do it full time.
You've driven a lot of cars here at Bathurst, John.
Sure have, Evan.
Tell us about some.
Well, I started off here in 57 in the FJ. Graduated to Cooper S's, Alphas, and then Fords.
You're not reading that from a cue card, are you, John?
No, mate. I'm too busy.